Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you all are practicing. The majority of you are coming online today with the playback. So I'm glad this is working for you and meeting your schedule. We had snow last week, which is why I ended up canceling. Several of you messaged me and told me you got off schedule and didn't sign up in time. But I decided to go ahead and cancel it the last minute because I wasn't sure I was going to safely make it to the studio, and there were too many people in my house and a dog to record at home. So I missed y'all last week, but glad to be back at it this week. So you need 2 blocks and a blanket. And as we begin, I actually want to invite you to pick your pose. So you could be in seated meditation to start with legs crossed and spine long. You could be on the back, maybe hands on the belly, checking in with the breath. You could bend the knees, find a butterfly pose. What feels right for you to check in today? We're going to start in this meditation posture, whatever shape you're in, and begin to just let the nose breathe in and out. So the breath is just steadily coming in and out through your nose. Today's flow is to invite balance into your body, into your energy points. So we're going to start with an energy breathwork meditation, just inviting some ease and balance into our bodies. So as you take this next breath in through your nose, I want to invite you to ponder a color that feels good to you, a color that makes you, that meets your needs today. It might be your favorite color. It might just be a color that you want to breathe in. It could be any color at all. As you begin to inhale through your nose, let that breath fill your body and let that color fill your body. So as you breathe in, you feel the breath coming in through the nostrils, and you're imagining that this color is filling your body, symbolic of the breath. And as you breathe in, the color expands. It travels through the nose and the throat and the lungs. And then that color travels to every cell of your body, filling your body all the way to the fingertips and the toes and the top of your head. As you exhale, your color gets brighter. Inhaling, your color spreads throughout your body. Exhaling, your color gets brighter. Allow this color to fill your body with ease. And with the exhale, the color bold and bright. This color for today and this breath is a reminder that you are filled with life. You are filled with breath. Let yourself see it with ease, not forcing a breath, not struggling to figure out where to breathe or how, but let it just come with ease. Just as that breath moves into the body and the color, using your imagination, fills you up, let it come with ease. Just a few more breaths right here. I want to invite you to hold on to this color as a reminder of being filled with breath and life and spirit. I also want to invite you today as we practice to not force anything, but to let it come with ease. If there's a posture that feels right today, to back off a little bit so you can go deeper in a different way with your breath or with your meditation. We're going to find ease, not easy, but ease, less severe, less harsh, less brutal. Ease, ease, ease. So with this fullness of breath and this full color expanding throughout your entire body, I want to invite you onto your back. If you are seated in a meditation, you're just going to recline back. If you're already on your back, just stretch your legs nice and long and reach your arms overhead. So it's this big morning stretch, fingertips to toes, expanding the body. And then draw the right knee into the chest, lifting the right foot toward the ceiling for a half happy baby. So you could bend the left knee if you wish. You could grab the bottom of the right foot or the back of the right thigh, either one. This is just a half happy baby to start. Notice in this right hip, with this being a warm-up pose today, just notice where you are. And as we come to the posture again at the end of class, hopefully you will notice a little difference and a little more ease in the pose. Release that right leg. You'll draw the left knee in toward the body. Give it a hug or a squeeze first. And then reach that left foot toward the ceiling. Half happy baby on this left side, either the bottom of the foot or the back of the thigh, either one. So I want to invite you to ponder for a moment, where do you need more ease in your life? Is there a routine or a habit or a relationship that feels tough right now? That feels hard or challenging? Maybe it's making space to take care of yourself, or being with someone you want to spend time with, or prioritizing finances or meals or whatever. There are so many things that at the start of the year we say, I want to do it all. But I want to invite you to think about what's one area of your life that you would like a little more ease in. You'd like it to just come a little bit better, a little bit less harsh, with some more ease. Release that left foot to the mat. Take your feet wide and then begin to drop those knees side to side, letting that low back have some space. And then we will roll over and come up to seated in a staff pose. So just coming off to your side, pressing up, legs come long in front of you in staff. Toes lifting toward the ceiling, crown of the head reaching toward the ceiling. Arms can be on the thighs or by the hips on the floor. As you find this staff pose, lengthen through the crown of your head. Let your shoulders come away from your ears. Feel that navel draw in toward the spine. So we're not just sitting, right? We are tall. We are engaged through the core. You should feel active in the thighs, the toes reaching toward the ceiling. Full breath in and out through that nose. Do that just a couple more times. Good. And then we're going to reach to the sky, reach overhead, and hinging at the hips, fold over those legs for your forward fold. When your hinging stops, You can release the hands, let the head hang. Find your forward fold. If you are super flexible in your forward folds and need a little more stretch, you could always place a block underneath the feet and grab the block. Otherwise, you can grab the ankles or let the hands fall at the shins. Be here, find your breath. And then let's just ask for some ease today in that part of your life where it would feel helpful. Just take a moment and shape that into a prayer. Hey, God, it would really be helpful if we could have a little more ease in XYZ scenario in my life. Or could you help me prioritize ABC with some ease? Make it a little less challenging, less hard, less severe. Where do you need ease? Just ask for it, invite it in, offer it as a prayer. Two more full breaths right here. You will slowly rise up to seated. And as you do, we're going to transition to garland pose. So that's a squat. If you need that blanket under your heels, you're just going to take the blanket, place it right under the edge of the heels so the feet, the toes are on the ground, but the heels are lifted. Knees are wide, hands come into prayer posture. Lift through the crown of your head. Take 5 to 10 breaths right here, lengthening through the spine, sinking in the hips. Good. Engaging the core, the feet, whether you're using the blanket or your feet are flat on the mat. I'm going to take the blanket out. Either option. We're rising to standing. So if this is a little outside your comfort zone, you could always find a forward fold first. Otherwise, you're going to engage your core, press your feet into the floor, rise all the way up to standing. Inhale, reach those arms to the sky. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center at prayer. And then sink your hips down into chair pose. As you sink down into chair pose, those hands are at heart center. Twist to your right. So first option is to stay high and twist to your right. Second option is to bring that left elbow to the right knee and twist to the right. That might be too deep of a twist as we're just getting started. So just check in with your body, see what's best for you. Unwind, rise to standing, reach those arms up and overhead, sink back into chair, hands at heart center. Upper body twist to the left, option 1. Option 2, right elbow to left knee. Unwind wherever you are, reach to the sky, nice breath in. Exhale, we'll hinge at the hips, find a forward fold. So hinging at the hips, find a forward fold. Let your head hang nice and heavy. Maybe you shake your head yes or no here. There can be a nice bend in your knees and invite your thighs and your chest to draw closer to one another. After this next breath, you'll find a halfway lift, sliding those hands up the legs, reaching your head long, making your back nice and flat. And then allow that left hand to travel over to your right shin or ankle. Right arm reaches to the sky for a twist. Release the right hand, left shin or ankle, left arm reaches to the sky for a twist. Exhale, fold forward. We're going to bend the knees and rise up into chair pose. Good. So as you're here in your chair, extend those arms this time if that feels okay. Sink your hips down, lengthen through the crown of your head, find your breath. Let that color fill you with ease. As that breath spreads through your body, see it as that color that you saw in our meditation. And then ground those feet, rise all the way up, reach to the sky. Let this right arm come underneath the left arm, cross the elbows, clasp the hands or the shoulders. Lift those elbows up, sink your hips down. So feet are about hip distance. The closest in this eagle or chair version, your big toes could be touching. I like a little space between my feet here. So just check in and see what feels most at ease for your pose. Unwind those arms, reach to the sky, full breath in. Left arm comes underneath right. Elbows lift, hips sink. Take just a few breaths right here. Let that color fill you. See it get bolder and brighter with each exhale. And then rise to standing, reach those arms to the sky, and then exhale, hands by the side. Great. From here, just to check in with your mountain pose, shoulders away from the ears, head, heart, hips, heels. Palms open toward the front of your mat. Nice. You are tall, you are grounded through all four corners of your feet. Let's find a little challenging, or just challenge ourselves for a moment in this next little playful exercise by shifting your body weight into your toes. Now shift your body weight into your heels. Shift your body weight forward and back just a few times. Now shift your body weight right foot to left foot. Notice as you do this, how your body compensates, how your body comes back to center point when you, without really even having to tell it to. Move forward, back, side to side for just a moment. Notice where you start feeling that auto correction, so to speak. And then find this center place, this place of balance, this place of ease, that gravity is holding you here. You don't have to work hard to find it. It just happens. Center point, balance. We come back to this when we get off course. Take a full breath in, reach your arms to the sky. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center at prayer. Good. From here, we're actually going to take our legs wide. So wide A, if you are facing forward on your mat, you might want to turn sideways. Toes will face slightly toward the corners of the mat. Allow your hands to come toward those hips, and then hinging at the hips, slide the hands down the legs. They can come to the earth. They can walk underneath you. They could rest on the legs. Just find a place and hang out there for just about 3 to 5 breaths. Your head and heart are heavy. Your knees are lifted. Your feet are engaged. Your thighs are working. Bend your right knee and walk your hands towards your right foot. If this is not accessible to stay low, I want you to come halfway lift, bend your right knee, bring your hands to your right thigh. Your choice, your body. Whether your hands are on the floor or the thigh, you're stretching with this side lunge, and then we're going to swap to the other side. So hands walk through center to the left foot or left leg. Feel this nice side lunge. And then at your pace, with ease, flow from side to side, either high or low. Where could you use more ease in your life? I think a lot of times we become, as a world, especially as a country, we become almost addicted to these challenging cycles that we've been in, and we're waiting for the next shoe to drop. But in reality, I think there's this invitation from God that amongst all these challenging things, we can seek ease with God. We can seek the path that doesn't make it harder on ourselves on purpose. We don't have to suffer through certain things. We don't have to make situations in our mind harder than they need to be if God allows us to find more ease in them. And sometimes that's just permission from ourselves. You will end on the left foot, whether you're high or low. Okay, we started on the right, so end on the left. Then come all the way back through center. So whether you're close to the earth or high, either version, back through to center, and then hands to hips, rise all the way up to standing. Turn your right toes to face the top of the mat. Extend your arms nice and long. If you have a block and you'd like to use it for triangle, you can grab it here. Right arm reaches forward, lowers down to the shin, or the block, left arm reaches high. Where do you need to give yourself permission for some more ease? So I'm going to throw an example out there. It's not the best. Don't report me to the recycling people, because many of you know that we had a little leak in our kitchen. It's been a huge debacle. And we never ever use like paper plates or plastic forks hardly anymore. And so I had this huge stockpile in my cabinet of disposable things we hadn't used. Take another full breath in and out right here in your triangle, and then press your feet in the ground. I'll finish my story on the other side. Rise all the way up, 5-pointed star, arms reach wide. We're just going to swap to the other side. So you may be facing the wrong direction from the camera. That's okay, or you can turn around. Left toes forward or to the back of the mat. Reach that left arm long, lower it down, triangle on the left. And so as a family, the three of us have been washing our dishes and just using the same bowl and the same plate. But my dog, y'all are probably going to get a kick out of this. So she had to be swapped over to some raw food last year after a lot of health problems, and she's doing great. But I didn't want to wash all these raw food things. So I've been using disposable forks and plates, and I felt guilty for like the first 2 weeks. And then finally I heard God say, ease up, give yourself a break. This is not forever. It's okay. Use these plastic forks, throw them away. Life will go on. You guys, sometimes we just have to give, it seems like such a silly example, but I was beating myself up over something that was stressing me out and worrying me. And that's not what God wants for us. So what's a place in your life where God's like, hey, this isn't a big deal. Let's find some ease in it. Ground your feet, rise all the way up, point your toes toward the long edge of the mat. Hug yourself. So where do you need ease? It might be a silly example. It might be a big one. Hug, hug, hug yourself. Give yourself a squeeze. And then reach those arms wide. Big 5-pointed star. Opposite arm comes on top. Hug or squeeze. How can you love yourself? How can you find some ease in the places in life that might feel hard or stressful or overwhelming? And how can you find ease in your body, ease in your practice? Yeah, release those arms. Roll those shoulders down and back. We're going to wiggle the feet together, coming to the center, and then just walk out for a moment. Those knees were wide for quite a while. I just want you to walk in place. Feel the knees come back to center line. You'll face the top of your mat next. After you face the top of your mat, let's find some ease with our breath, reaching to the sky, full breath in. Exhale, release, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, plant those hands on your mat, step back for a plank. Hug your elbows in, your knees can be up or down, lower all the way with control. Heart lifts, cobra. Lower down and find a Sphinx pose. I got a little too close to the top of my mat. So Sphinx pose, elbows under shoulders, hands flat on the mat. Heart lifts, head lifts. Feel that gentle back bend here. Now, would it feel best to stay here? Or would it feel best to stack the arms in crocodile, release that back bend, and come to the mat? I want you to find the place where you can breathe most fully and not feel tension, but also feel the breath moving through your body and a gentle back bend in either version. This sequence in particular is nice for a healthy low back. So if you feel pinched in your low back in Sphinx, lowering down is one option. If you would like to go deeper in this pose for a more intense back bend, and that doesn't take you to a stressful place in your body, open your hands wide to the corners of the mat, straighten the elbows, lift the heart. You should still be able to breathe with ease. If not, lower down into that Sphinx. Good. From here, you'll come all the way back down to the earth. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Press yourself up into a tabletop. I'm going to face you, and we're coming up onto the shins. So it doesn't matter if you're long ways on the mat. Your right foot's going to be out to the side. So if you prefer the mat under your foot, you can turn sideways. Right hand rests on the leg. Left arm reaches up to the sky. So find this posture first with a tall lengthening from left fingertips to left knee. Then I want to invite you to slide that right hand down the leg, reach over with that left arm, feel that left side body opening up. Exhale, windmill that left hand down to the mat. Send the right arm up to the sky or the floor, wherever you are. Good. Then back up to gate. Reach both arms overhead. Hands come to center at prayer. And then bring that right knee in, left leg out. Now send those arms up and overhead. Right arm's going to stay where it is. Left arm travels down that left leg. Find that long lengthening first, and then slide the left hand down the leg. Right side body opens up. Full breath in and out. Breathe with ease. Fill your body with that color. See it get bolder. You are full of breath and life and spirit. And sometimes we just need ease. Sometimes we think we need things to be less hard. Sometimes we need to give ourselves a break, not be perfect. Lower that right hand down. Left arm reaches up. Rise all the way up. Reach those arms overhead. Exhale, hands to prayer. Bring that left knee in to meet the right knee. Good. Hands to the low back. Elbows will draw together. Heart lifts. Hips shift forward for your camel. And then release out of that camel. Hands come to the mat into your tabletop. Drop your heart space toward the mat. Lift your chin, lift your tailbone for your cow. And then draw your right shoulder towards your right hip. Look over that shoulder. Back through center cat pose. Then cow pose. Left shoulder to left hip. Gaze over left shoulder. Cat pose. Cow with the side flexion, right shoulder to right hip. Cat. Cow with side flexion on the left side. Cat. Good. We're going to transition into a pigeon pose. So first option is to stay in your tabletop and draw the right knee toward the right hand. Second option is to tuck the toes, come into a down dog, lift the right leg toward the sky, and then bring the right knee to the right hand. Your choice. Left leg extends long behind you. You might want that blanket underneath the right hip. Once you find your pigeon, I want you to adjust the foot as it feels right, anywhere from the side of the mat to close to the groin. And then I want you to settle in with the props, begin to lower down to the mat. You can use forearms. You could use the blocks here. You could stack the hands and rest the head. One of my favorite quotes I shared on social media this week says, "Stop the glorification of busy." I think that's one place in our lives where we could practice more ease this year, is that busy doesn't have to be cool. We can give ourselves permission to say, you know, I don't have to do it all. I can find space to enjoy something. I can have margin. And I know we all have responsibilities and we all have people to care for and passions and ministries that we care about. And those all matter. But if we busy ourselves to the point of exhaustion and we don't find the ease in our calendars and our lifestyles, we can't give our best selves to any of those that we care about. Ease. Where will you find ease in your calendar? Take another few breaths, settling into pigeon. When you are ready, you'll begin to press your body up off the mat. Bring the right knee back to meet the left knee. If you started in tabletop, you might want to just drop your hips side to side and stay here with the knees on the mat. If you chose to come to down dog, you may want to return there. Pedal the feet out, stretch the right leg behind you, maybe pull the right knee into the chest. What would feel good? You're going to find pigeon on this left side. So first option, if you're in tabletop, just bring the left knee to left hand. Second option, down dog, left leg reaches to the sky, left knee travels up to the left hand, right leg long behind you. Blanket maybe underneath that left hip. Adjust the foot anywhere from the side of the mat to closer to the groin. Right leg comes long behind you. Take the extra moment to find the props and the posture where you can settle in with ease so you can still find that breath. You can feel that color. See it get more vivid and brighter as it fills your body with each breath. How can you find more ease in your poses? Is it by less comparison or more consistency or permission to just be where you are today? What would give you ease in your body, in your postures, in your practice? Stay here for a few more breaths. Be in the pose. After this next breath, you'll release out of your pigeon by pressing the hands into the mat, lifting up, moving the props, tucking that right toe, bringing left knee back to meet the right knee, or rising up into down dog, and then just stretching that out. After you've moved in the way that feels right, we're going to slide back down onto the body, on the belly, excuse me. And from here, bring the arms long behind you. See if you can clasp your hands, lift your heart, press your hands away from you, snake pose. If the hands won't clasp, you can find arms by the side, and this is more of a half locust. So you're just lifting the head and the heart, and the arms are long behind you or clasped, either version. Lower all the way down to the mat. Take one ear to the mat and let the arms be long by the side. We're going to rise up into bow pose. So if the feet are accessible to clasp with the hands, you will bend the knees and reach back for the feet with the hands. If they're not accessible, you'll bend the knees, pull the feet in toward the body, lift the heart and the head, and just reach the hands in that direction. So two choices, either clasp the feet or reach the hands in that direction. If the hands and the feet make contact, press those ankles into the hands, lift up into your bow and breathe. Release those legs, come all the way to the mat. Opposite ear will come to the earth. Breathe into the back side of the body. So you should feel that breath moving in. If it helps you to see your color, let that color fill the back of the rib cage, the whole back of the body. Next, we'll lift up into bow again. So option one, bend the knees, reach the arms in that direction. Option two, clasp those ankles. Try to keep your knees drawing into the midline, the center of the body, as you lift up into your bow and breathe. You should feel a little movement. It's almost like you're rocking with the breath. And then you'll release those feet, come all the way down to the mat, press your hands into the earth, push back into child's pose. Now, one option here for a nice counter pose would be to have the knees together and the hands come back by the feet for more of a mecha child's pose. see what version is right for you. And then when you're ready, you'll press those hands into the mat, lift yourself up, come into a thunderbolt for just a minute. So that's going to look like grabbing the block, placing it between your heels, and then sitting back on it. Okay, and then once you find that thunderbolt, just lengthen through the spine. Send those arms up on your next breath in on the inhale. And then on your exhale, you're going to twist to the left, open your arms out and wide, and then drop them all the way down. Inhale back through center. Exhale, twist to your right, drop the hands all the way down. Inhale back to center. Flow with this at your pace for the next few breaths. Just finding ease, matching the breath to the movement, not forcing it, not making it harsh or severe, but just letting it flow. Good. After this next one, you'll end on the right. We started on the left, so end on the right. Then lift those arms up to center, bring the hands through to the heart space. Take a full breath in and out. And then we're going to come off of the block. Grab your second block. And if you don't have two blocks, you could also use a blanket for this, or if this feels too intense, you could use a blanket for this. So I'm going to show you fish pose with one or two blocks or with a blanket. First option for two blocks is they're going to make like a T on the ground, one for your head and one in between your shoulder blades. If that feels like it might be too much or you don't have blocks, just take your blanket and roll it into a small roll, and you're going to place it long ways on your mat. Okay. The point is to have something underneath your heart space to lift you up into fish. I personally like, oh, it came too high. You want that block between the shoulder blades and then the optional block underneath the head. If you get here and realize you could take the block out from your head, you're going to drop the head down to the mat. Legs can be bent or long, or knees can be bent or legs can be long, either version. My blocks are a little high, so shorter blocks can sometimes feel good for just the block under the heart. Other times they can be too extreme for the neck. So you either have a block or a blanket under the heart, and you either have your head supported or on the floor. It's not hanging out. It's touching something. With your heart lifted, feel those shoulders open, palms are up toward the ceiling. Let your low back soften down toward the ground. Let your heart space lift toward the ceiling and open up. And then send your breath fully into the body. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Meditate with that color if you find it helpful. This is one of those postures you could pull out and practice for 5 or 10 minutes before bed. And just, especially if you've been on the computer a lot or on your phone or hanging out over a steering wheel, this is such a great counter pose for those slumped forward body and shoulders. Breathe with ease, not forcing it. Let it come and let it go. And then as you're ready in the next couple breaths, you'll gently roll off of your props, whatever props you chose. You'll slide those out from underneath you and then bring your full back down to the mat. So the whole back comes to the mat. Let the legs be long. Reach the arms overhead. Great big morning stretch, fingertips to toes. Arms come by your side, bend your knees. Pick your block up, place it. I'm going to use the lowest setting underneath the sacrum. Option 1 is to stay here in your bridge. Option 2 is to hold the block, lift your legs toward the ceiling. Feel the lightness in your feet. Send the breath, the color, all the way to the bottoms of those toes. How will you find ease in your day, in your week, in your month, in your year? And where might finding ease actually invite, sometimes we think ease is easy. It's not necessarily. Ease might mean more structure or more routine. It might mean more consistency. It might mean that something needs to shift in your life that isn't easy. But where and how will you choose to find ease when it kind of waves its hand at you? And then when you're ready, lower those legs all the way back down into your bridge pose. Feel the shift in the blood flow. Feel the toes back on the earth. And then press those toes, those heels, those feet all the way into the mat. Lift the block out from underneath you, lower or lift the hips, bring the block out, lower the hips back to the mat. Now, we're going to find that full happy baby that I promised you from the start of class. Pull the knees in toward the armpits, lift the feet toward the ceiling, grab the backs of the thighs, option 1. Option 2, grab the bottoms of the feet. Drop the tailbone toward the mat to feel the spine lengthen. Is this a little more accessible than it was an hour ago? Notice if you can find more ease, not only in the posture, but with your breath in the posture. And then option 1 is to stay in happy baby. Option 2 is to straighten the legs out into a V shape. Some people can clasp their feet here. I am not one of those people. So you can either grab the insides of your thighs, or maybe you can grab your big toes and open your legs up. That's perfectly fine if it works for you. If not, just grab the backs of the legs or the insides of the legs and make a V shape. It does not have to be pretty. Just feel that opening on the inside of the thighs. And then pull those knees together. Arms come wide into a T or cactus. Drop the knees over to the left. Take your gaze to the right. Find your twist. If some props would give more ease to the pose, place a prop under that left knee. And then you'll bring the knees through center, over to the right. Extend through that left arm. And then all the way through center. Feet come back to the mat. I want to invite you to find a butterfly. You have a couple blocks, hopefully, or you could use a blanket around the ankles and tuck it around the feet. But you're going to bring the soles of the feet together, open the knees, and find a butterfly. The reason I want to invite you to use the props in this one is just so you don't have to think about holding your legs up as much. And that we're softening here, letting go, releasing, letting that low back be soft, letting the hips be soft, letting the thighs find some space. And the props can just offer more ease to this posture and let it feel less forceful. If you don't need or use props here, that's perfectly fine if it feels good to your body. And just let the breath move in and out through your nose. Maybe use your color to stay in the breath, stay in the pose, stay in this moment. Just another minute here. Breath flowing, color filling. Ease is coming. You're claiming it. You're choosing it. You're giving yourself permission to say yes to it. Gently, you'll bring your hands to your thighs, lift those legs back through to center, set your props over to the side. What posture would feel good to close your practice? It could be knees to the chest. It could be another happy baby. If you have a plow or a shoulder stand in your practice, you could find that here. You could lift your legs for reclined staff. What would feel good to close your practice? Give your body permission to take that shape, whatever it might be. And then when you're ready, you'll take the shape you're in and shift it to Shavasana. So maybe there's a blanket under your knees, maybe there's a blanket under your neck, maybe you're covered up, maybe you've dimmed the lights or you have an eye pillow. But take a moment, just a moment, to get a little more cozy, a little more comfortable. Allow your body to settle into the mat. And this is where we let all that we've done sink in. As you feel the earth beneath your body, begin to soften into the earth. Let it hold you. Let it support you. Now invite the insides of your body, the organs, the tissues, the joints, the bones, the muscles, the blood. There's so much miraculousness to who you are and how God made you. Invite all of those insides to settle and rest and soften into the backside of your body. Taking a moment to just scan the top of your body, invite all that's on top of you, your skin, your forehead, your eyelids, your lips, your fingernails, your toenails. Invite all of those parts of you just to settle down into the rest of you, to sink into this mat with ease. There's no work here. There's no forcing of the breath. You allow your body to yield to this moment, to let go, and to simply be. I invite you to stay here being as long as you have time. If you need to shift into another part of your day and you're ready to close your Shavasana, you'll just begin to wiggle those small parts of you, toes, fingers, move the tongue in your mouth, wiggle your ears. You'll gently begin to roll off to your side, pausing, noticing, where did ease come in this practice? In the movement, in the breath, in the meditation, or was it harder? And where do you feel more space? And where do you feel more invitation to lean into the ease in different parts of your life? You'll slowly press yourself up to seated when you're ready. Bring those hands to prayer at heart center. Just offer a blessing for yourself. And then I will offer this blessing for you. May you find ease in the places God longs for you to find it. May you discover the freedom that ease brings you both on and off the mat. May you find ease in this day, in this week, in the month, and in this new year. And let it bring you into the fullness of each breath and each moment and who God has made you to be. Amen and namaste. May peace be with you each. Thank you so much for sharing this practice with us. I'm loving being with you, and I'm so honored to be part of your journeys. So, y'all have a great rest of your week, and I will see you next week.